So this organizer was actually kind of impossible to manufacture just a few years ago. So if you look at the design of this, it is set up with a number of small divots inside of it, but then a really thick profile for it all. And the reason for that is because this is an organizer drawer. It's designed to go into a set of them just like this. But normally when you make an organizer drawer like this, you end up creating a bunch of small squares with thin walls throughout. And the reason for that is, and the way they've been made like that before, is because they're injection molded. And injection molding requires really thin features throughout so that you don't have warp and that kind of stuff. But printing is able to take all that same material and basically balloon it and fill in spaces that aren't necessary to create very smooth sort of features. This is really useful because if you place something now into these organizer divots, it's very easy to get out because everything's smooth. If I drop in a screw or an earring, I can just kind of swipe it out and it can slide out. The only way to get this kind of an option with molding would be to then take this front profile and project it onto the back, where you basically suck it down and skin it down, and it's a curved sheet basically. So this is the benefit of it. 3D printing is able to create really complex structures that look really simple and can be a lot more robust than what you would have otherwise. So this is a really great way to create an entirely new product and get it mass produced, because you can use a giant print farm like ours or connect to an API or an Etsy app so that you can actually produce these on demand. Now let's go ahead and actually look at the design of this to make sure people understand how to actually do it. When we designed this, we did design it to be a jewelry holder. And the main thing is to be aware of print orientation. These were actually designed to be printed vertically like this, both the drawer and the outer housing itself. In order to get it done, we made sure that there were no vertical overhangs anywhere. And then once the design was fully finished, we went ahead and ensured that all the vertical edges were rounded as much as possible, which actually helped to lend to the aesthetic of the part as a whole, because that's actually pretty attractive. Now, the outer box itself also has rounded edges. We made it slightly square, and then on the outside, I added these small grooves so that it's very easy to stack these together and hold them together. If you want to pull up part of the stack, well, then you just pull up that one slot that you want. So it's a nice little addition there from an industrial design standpoint. Then if you look at it, you have a top and bottom where you have feet and holes for them to stack together so that there are finding features that improve all of these. And then lastly, you have the drawers, of course. While this whole assembly is designed to be printed together so that you can actually produce sets of drawers as a single print file, they can also be separated so that you can get the different colors that you want with each one of these. And this is a good way to create a lot of customization for your customers without having to create new files. Now, there's one other secret that goes in with all this. Since we are using 3D printing, we are not restricted to the mold. Instead, we can iteratively create different variations very affordably. That way you're able to create exactly what your customers are looking for. They might want to organize earrings, or they might want to organize bracelets, or they might want to organize necklaces, whatever it happens to be. And you can change the design and add these new variations in order to support those different applications. And it's very easy to create these different variations. So you've just radically improved the quality of your product. Since it is stackable, you're able to upsell customers on other editions of like, oh, you bought that one drawer, well, keep on adding to the set and now you can expand it all. But again, all of this is enabled by mass production 3D printing. 5 years ago, if you wanted to make something like this, you would have had to spend thousands of dollars on the mold, make an inferior product, and then never be able to change it unless you actually sold out of all the things. Now you're able to create a lot of different options for people to pick from and improve on it over time where you never could before. Now you can create a product that's really unique, very competitive, and continually improving, rather than a product that you have to swing for the fences, hope it hits, and if it doesn't, well, then you're broke and you're going out of business. But now you can just upload it to like the Etsy app or use our 3D printing API, and then you can produce them on demand whenever one single person orders one or two or a dozen, and still do it affordably without ever having to cut a mold and having effectively zero startup cost. So this is just an interesting example of what is possible today that was not possible 5 years ago. Have a great day, everybody.